deal? There she is. I'm definitely still feeling a little bit framey.
Woohoo!
Say, hey, what's up?
What's going on?
Oh, you know, we're talking about the hotness to come.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
No idea, huh?
No idea. Trying to find a good chair. There we go. That's a good chair. There we go. So I just checking in. Just finally got through all our post-stream rituals.
The post-stream rituals.
Post-stream rituals. Putting Jose back in his cage. I mean, letting him go back to his desk.
Jose, you gotta lock Jose in the dungeon and make sure, you know, he's a workhorse.
You see what happens when we let him out.
Now, I'm not gonna judge here. I'm not gonna judge, but I'm judging. How come Mark and Jose look so tired, and you and Elandrian looked so awake and spry today?
That's funny because I am not awake and I am very tired right now. I had some Discord messages sent to me at 4:30 this morning that woke me up that were just from Fisk making a joke, and
they like to ping you late.
They did. For some reason this time it woke me up, so I'm running on a lot less sleep than I usually do.
Oh, fair enough. They definitely like to sing you those pings late night. I see them and I'm like, ah.
Usually it's not too bad, but for some reason it woke me up. It was only a message or two, so. But yeah, we've all been. I guess Elandria and I are just better at lying about if we're tired or not.
Well, I mean, Elandrian's invincible. We already know that. So.
Yeah.
You know, Elandrian doesn't need no sleep.
Dude's a beast, but yeah, no, we've all been putting in a ton of hours, just getting everything ready. That's usually how the crunch time is in game development right before any release is. The week or two before and then after is going to be a bit of a marathon. Oh, Elandrian signed on in Twitch in here. I can pretend to be him.
Hello, nice.
Elandrian. There we go.
All the fake Elandrians going on.
All the fake ones. So I saw that, or I was informed that there was a question potentially about like shops through like eBay or PayPal.
Yeah, somebody had mentioned that.
And so yeah, we'll and we can have word out on that as well, just to specify. I mean, basically, it's the same kind of stance we took with DD1. Whereas if we're basically able to figure out that you did it, then it's probably just going to result in a account ban.
Well, I mean that makes sense. I mean that's something that ever since the market was mentioned, I've heard you mentioning it. You don't that Trendy is very very what's the word for it, or conscious of the fact of the whole PayPal shops thing from DD1. I mean,
yeah,
it's been mentioned multiple times. So
yeah, I mean, and a lot of it comes down to the fact that having such strict punishments on it, or enforcing strict punishments, does a couple things. One, obviously, it gets around certain like having different companies come in that may be nefarious and have certain bot farms going on. It prevents that, and it also doesn't. It helps prevent throwing what economy we have in the game with these changes coming in from being thrown into calamity and having things at different values. So making sure that there are strict punishments to deter any kind of nefarious interactions outside of the game really make sure that things stay stable and enjoyable for the rest of the players.
Yeah, definitely. Nuzo asked if there is anything questionable. I mean, I would assume probably a direct, maybe a message on the forums or whatever. But if there is something, if anyone sees anything questionable like that, will there be a way to report said player?
Definitely doing it within. I mean, there's a couple things. Proof is going to be big if a player sees it. We have a couple things we can track as well to see what goes on. But if a player happens to see somebody advertising something or anything that they find suspicious, screenshots of the interactions and whatnot are always helpful because we can go through and check certain logs. But contacting either me or putting it in to our community support website through a ticket, that's always welcome too.
Right.
People who work on that will see that and let myself or Ice or whoever gets to swing that ban hammer, swing it and then kind of explain why. But yeah, any kind of contact, I'll make sure to put something up that in our expansion notes. Basically, hey, if you see this happening, let us know. But I mean, even with our tester community, we haven't had. I was expecting to receive a bunch of PMs about leaks going on, and I've only received one so far. So that's been pretty good. So I think people in the community tend to have nobler intentions and don't try to break the rules too much.
Yeah, definitely. Absolutely. And, everybody's got to realize, too, with the shop items, I mean, I'm super, super stoked that we're able to set our own prices. I mean, people were saying ever since last week's dev stream to me, is it going to be set prices or are we going to be able to set our own? And one thing that I have been very vocal about over the last week is I really hope we can set our own prices because we're all going to have moods. And I mean, like, XClint has already confirmed that his shops are always going to be 75% off. So, I mean, if you want low price gear, definitely go check out XClint's shop. There you go, XClint. 75% off date confirmed. But
There
I
you
mean,
go.
there's going to be stuff there that's ridiculously high priced. And you know what? If those items don't sell, the people are going to learn their lesson as they're going to have to pay a tax.
Oh yeah, there's a whole lot that comes with it that we had some people actually asking why couldn't we sell for more, and I mean part of that is just a decision to keep things somewhat in line so you didn't have ridiculous trades going on.
Right,
But
absolutely.
also, it's just like a lot of this data is pulled from the amount of gold that the average player has anyways, and how much they earn, and how much the new systems are going to allow, like how much gold you'll be earning through that. On top of the upgrade, advanced, and evolving costs and the tinkering costs. Like starting off, those are very, very low, and they start scaling up. And it's not anything insane by any means, but it's definitely a lot of stuff we've taken account into where we kind of set these limits. And with with the prices going up as they get higher, like gold will become important. There are players who have it now, but over time they'll be spending it on upgrading to Chaos 8 maybe, or tinkering some mods from one piece of gear to another. So there's a lot of systems kind of involved
Oh,
that are going
without
to
a
be
doubt.
giving gold a decent amount of value.
That question has actually come up quite a bit there, Dole, and I think there's a lot of players that are slightly confused about shard gilding and thinking the word
Oh
guild might mean something player guild related.
yeah, so yeah, those are two completely different things. It's not something where we're necessarily against. It just really comes down to development time and how it's implemented. Again, with this expansion specifically, it's a huge foundational change.
Right.
Trying to give a lot of meaning to different systems on top of introducing systems. With the player markets, we're now setting a new foundation for what our economy is in the game, and that's going to affect anything else added into the game is now affected by that. So we really need to be able to see how those things perform between players and how the game changes as a result. Because if we put in something, let's say we put in player guilds with this update, and we put some kind of like upgrade cost to something, I don't know. I'm just thinking of how other games kind of do it. If there's some kind of investment, if we did that haphazardly, it could have been, not as good of a feature. Things might have been more expensive or not as expensive. So there's all kinds of balancing acts to it. Really, the reason that anything like that's not in it is because of time. it's
Oh
there's
yeah.
a lot. there's a lot of stuff we want to put in, but it's been a ton of work put into this, a ton of calculations, a ton of iteration, and I mean we're still doing it now, just making sure that the final touches are polished and everything works correctly and everything's readable.
Oh, definitely. Well, I'm stoked, man. I can't wait. I actually told everybody earlier I'm going to force myself to play something different this weekend, although it's really, really difficult to put DD2 down right now. Lawlta doesn't even know, Omni, I don't believe, but you're actually a duck in Stardew Valley, Lawlta, just so you know. You are indeed a duck. But our Stardew Valley playthrough has completely dropped from the face of the earth just because every time there's an opportunity for gaming, it's prep. Got to get the prep work in. But yeah, I'm going to force myself to play something different this weekend just so I,
get burnt out.
I want to be fresh and ready to go come Tuesday. Because I mean, this is a game changer. This update is huge.
Oh, yeah. And we, I'm glad to see there's been some mention of a couple things, like with gilded shards, for example. That beforehand, it was a different price. It was a higher price for a lot of our testing stuff, and like the decision for 10. I was actually expecting a little bit more of an conflicted response, but there's been a thread already started about it, and it was more I'm all about this price because it's supposed to be an in-game kind of thing. Like you can make choices on, am I going to invest in this or hold on to this, and with a little bit more expanding on that, it really comes down to, we saw like how people kind of acquire shards, how often they get certain amounts of certain kinds, and we wanted it to be an investment that made that shard feel special, like it was a semi accomplishment to get it there. It was a goal that was attainable, that required some time to get there, but wasn't too much time, and so we landed on 10. And so far, from what I've seen, it's accepted as good,
right,
with that idea, right? Because I mean, being able to get through ancient power, especially when you go through ancient power and you keep climbing, you're going to be getting those shards again, like as you're climbing through.
Absolutely.
On top of some dope weapons now, like
I'm excited about the weapons, but man, I was really hoping we would get some kind of grandfather clause for taking advantage of the AP system.
So with that, we kind of thought about something like that, but with it would kind of, again, we're really, really conscious about the economy going into this, and so having a lot of people load into the game with these new weapons and new mods on them, like, because they all have a new look as well as new mods.
Right.
So, well, I guess all mods are new, but very class specific ones that are very, very strong. It would kind of throw things out of whack, because I mean, it would allow certain players who might be in the 50 plus, 70 plus range to just dominate the market right on release, and that would throw things kind of out of whack as well.
Absolutely. See, I'm going to be tough pressed. I mean, I want to get the new weapons, but at the same note, I didn't want to AP for a while because I wanted to make sure, I was able to get like some C8 crafting materials and play around with some different things and check it. I mean, I've got obviously a big endeavor ahead of me of redoing all these guides and tutorials and everything. So, I mean, I'm going to have to stay without AP for a while.
Well, that also means that you can buy it from other players because they can be sold.
This is true, but yeah, I mean, I guess I can always bust out some of the gold.
So yeah, exactly. Gold's gonna become important. That's the big thing we're selling on this.
Sell me your stuff for cheap, people. Cheap.
And I don't know. I'll have to look into it. This is something that I've been pondering, and we'll have to see. But Trendy Friday fun giveaways might take a little bit of an interesting turn. Now that there's interesting items and mods and all kinds of stuff, who knows? Maybe hero codes aren't the only thing we give away.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Getting the teaser right here from a Lawlta.
nothing. Yeah, it's a bit of a tease. That's a possibility. I've been busy doing a lot of other stuff, so need to run that by a few other people, get some gut checks. But it's a possibility something like that could be happening. Who knows? So that way it's a little bit of a controlled or introduction of items like that into the system instead of just oh gosh, we ran the numbers on how many would be added to the game if we did retroactive rewards. Oh my gosh, it was a lot. It was a concerning amount. And like we even did it at like every 2 floors, every 3, 4, 5, and we're just like, whew, it's gonna be a lot. So yeah, But that said, I will. This is a high level being. We are as being a living game. We're releasing the suspension, but we're also planning for what's to come. And so we're talking about onslaught stuff and ancient power stuff. So it's not just we're adding weapons you can get through ancient power and that's it. So there is more to come with that. As I've been saying, I hope I'm good on my word. This stuff is foundational. So once this stuff is out, then we can focus on other stuff and keep building up. We've got a ton of plans on what's to come. So we think a lot of people are really excited about mods. We've had a ton of fun with some of these builds. As Jose mentioned, the ballista mod that adds poison to your ballistas, and you can pierce multiple enemies with them. Just does crazy damage. Like a lot of it introduces a lot of builds that people previously weren't able to do, and now it makes just like a ton of different interesting things. And what I'm hoping is introduces heroes to players who may have been, oh, I only play Dryad, or oh, I only like playing the Mystic. Maybe investing a little bit in the Lavamancer will have an interesting build. I know I'm looking forward to setting up a volcano that does a ton of damage throughout the map.
Yeah, definitely. Now, another thing I'm kind of curious about is the new items that are coming, the AP weapons, for lack of a better term. Are they just going to be straight RNG when you do an AP reset, or can you talk about that yet?
Oh yeah, those are so, and we touched a little bit on the stream. Those are random, because we didn't want there to be, especially for people maybe such as yourself who have gone through AP to have missed out on certain checkpoints. We also wanted to use these items as a way to influence trading as well, to really promote it. So like every one of them is good. They're going to be good. The stats they come with, instantly hero damage is the primary on those. But the mods themselves are even amazing.
Well, my concern is, like, I personally am a huge fan of the Eevee. It's my favorite hero without a doubt. Just love that girl. Now, of course, I'm going to want the Eevee's weapon.
Right.
So is there any way to influence the RNG? Like, if I say I do an ancient power reset with the Eevee active, would that help my cause in getting the Eevee's weapon canister from that ancient power?
Nope, it's complete. There's no influencing it. Again, the big goal with that was to make sure that the player marketplace, like, that had a big impact on it. With that being the case, it puts the emphasis on gold even higher than just with the systems we added. So
oh yeah, I mean, it will encourage me to use the player marketplace for sure.
Yeah, so it's really to push people to, it's like, hey, it might make people engage with the AP system more, because say you go through the AP system, and you get the thing you want on the first time. Okay, that's a one and done off, and those usually don't feel super great. But if you get a random one, it's not the one you want. Maybe it has you play a different hero and you learn a little bit more about a different hero, or hey, you don't really care about it regardless of the hero. You can now sell it, or sell it to get gold to buy the one that you do want. There might be players day one who go through Ancient Power and get these weapons, and then instantly are up there trying to sell them as fast as possible.
Oh, that's going to be a thing.
Oh
Somebody will
yeah.
do that for sure.
So there's a lot of options it introduces by making it random. Whereas if it was static, there'd be certain choices. Not to say that down the line we couldn't take a look at that, but we really want to see how players interact with it. If it's something that's not enjoyable, of course we'll take a look at it. We don't want to leave anything enjoyable. The things do take time though. So yeah, but currently the way we've kind of interacted with it internally and just from tests as well, is that it's been a pretty enjoyable experience the way it's set up with player testing. We've done several things in studio where we've had everybody get on a test build with whatever they'd been playing with, just tested over time, and then hop into one of our trading hubs and just see, oh hey, so and so got this much. Like it's fun to just go into the hubs just to see what people got, because I'm like, I'll go through and I'll see what roles people got on different gear. Like that's kind of what I see that barbarian.
Sorry,
I'm
man, I
watching.
couldn't resist.
It's all good. I'm glad my beard's not that long anymore. I gotta trim it soon. It was absolutely savage. But it really adds a lot. Like just the roles alone are something that I've played a lot of games where there were roles on gear. I mean, Diablo 3 is a great example, and it always feels, getting something decent. It's like, okay, I can use this, but the moment you get like a good roll, uh, just endorphins out the roof. Like it's just like, oh, that is amazing. Or if you trade for it, and you finally get it after months of trying to hunt for it through trades and stuff, like
Right.
those moments are really huge, and then you instantly feel the power as well. Because those, again, the mods are going to be really good, but the perfectly rolled ones, those are game changers, like hands down. It won't just be you won't just feel small incremental little increases. It'll be noticeable.
Okay, that was one of the questions that had come up earlier too, and I was just wondering what the power level would be, the difference between like a minimum and a maximum mod.
Yeah, it really depends on which one. I can't say for all, because some of them are percentage increases. Um, but again, some of them are like really, really powerful. I know that a good instance of that is some of the incursion weapons are incredibly strong. Which one did Jose bring up? I forgot already. Oh, I can't
He
remember.
brought up several. He brought up the ghostly halberd.
I know. He brought up Lunar Portal, and
Yeah.
that one, ooh, that one's really good. A good roll on that is pretty bonkers. Because I'm pretty sure on those, it's every stat on them gets rolled. I could be wrong on that, but I'm pretty sure that's the case. I can tell you right now that so if you've seen them, they've got their mod slots to them. There's only so much of a description you can put within them. The one that was a complete nightmare to originally figure out a way to display it was Glaive of Storms. I don't know if you have one on you, but the tooltip for it is very expansive for its passive, and that passive is now a mod. So it's a lot. But we were able to figure out a way to display it. It's been one of the challenges we weren't expecting, that the incursion weapons threw kind of at us.
I'm pretty stoked. I'm pretty stoked about the Shadow Flame dagger. I mean, I'm a big Mystic fan too, and
oh yeah,
I love the Shadow Flame builds, and I'm gonna be playing with that bad boy for certain.
oh yeah,
And
they're
Jose
they're
bringing
good.
that up today, it instantly gave me happy thoughts of mystical days. I just cannot wait to mess around with my mystic with that.
The old nightmare weapons. Oh, X-Glen, I'm not really sure on those. I'll have to kind of see that. I mean, those could also very well be something we reintroduce. This is complete speculation, just off the top of my head. Like later on, is look at bringing things like toxic shock back. We've got a lot of plans that we want to accomplish, and we want to set tangible rewards and all kinds of like goals for players to set, and all kinds of fun things to interact with. So we're hoping that this expansion really conveys that. We're listening to a lot of player feedback and really trying to get things in at a foundational level so that we can get things in that are a lot more in-depth, easier, and a lot faster as well.
Some of the things, like with Toxic Shock, one of the things that was really super cool about it was the shot type. And even like that old, I mean, it was the Falcon shot was one of the generic shot types, but it was just an awesome shot type. And now that that's gone, it's just sad times. It would be really, really awesome if things like the Toxic Shock and the Falcon shot types were back. That would be absolutely amazing.
Yeah, and I mean, that might be something we're able to do in the future, because we were definitely looking at like speed and shot types and all that stuff. But it really comes down to it was one, getting it functional if we could, and then two, also easily done to where it wasn't just a UI nightmare.
Right.
But just with everything we were working on, we just weren't able to give that stuff a whole lot of time, or if we did, we couldn't find a way to make it feasible. So I mean, that's really the crux of development, is the amount of time that you're able to invest in order to get things pushed out. Because we do put a lot of time in, but also nothing. There are some places outside of Trendy that do some pretty hardcore development cycles. So we try to really crunch, but we try to make sure that at the end of the day, no one gets like super burnt out.
Well, I mean, got to be realistic,
Oh yeah, for sure. So there was a ton of love and a ton of time put into this. I mean, we've been talking. Gosh.
A lot of I plug those guys all the time, but one of the things a lot of people just don't realize, I mean, if you're when you're in the DD2 Discord, you see Mark and Jose, you see those guys online at 2-3 in the morning.
Oh yeah, no,
I mean, it's not like these guys work 9 to 5 and they're done. I mean, they're getting pressed,
Yeah, there's times where I'll kind of ping them like, hey, go home, or hey, get off the line.
Yeah,
you need to sleep. So.
I mean, I've popped in. I've been on and seen those guys on really, really late. I almost said something I shouldn't have said. I'm glad I zipped myself there real quick.
No, you're okay.
I've seen a Landrian on at an absurd hour and actually did a match with him once.
Oh yeah.
And
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
I mean, it was just, and I'm 3 hours earlier than you all, and it was an absurd hour, So it's like, my God, dude, get some sleep.
Oh, dude, it gets. What I tend to be the one that gets up really early to do stuff, because I don't like to stay up super late to mess with stuff. But I'll hear about some kind of bug or exploit of some kind, and I'll be doing some investigation super early in the morning. Whereas I'll see these guys had just been on, an hour or two ago. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Oh yeah. No doubt about it.
Oh, Hajim, thank you for being hyped for it. So we hope you enjoy it. And Excellent's right. Also, not all the devs are in Discord. Yeah, that would be a nightmare because you wouldn't see anyone else listed on the Discord on that sidebar. There's no way you could fit all of us on there without scrolling. So yeah, we already have. It's kind of a big point of pride for us is we have a lot of transparency when it comes to our devs and communication as well. I mean, I try to be as available as possible. Landrian tends to as well. Ice is around quite a bit. So, for me personally, I'm not really familiar with any other studio that does that.
Right.
So we kind of take that as a point of pride. Sometimes it gets a little wily. We get a little disrespect thrown away. Not very often though. Usually it's just questions and just a lot of passion for the game.
Well, you know, it is the interwebs.
Yeah, so it could be much worse. It could be much worse. But no, it's usually a very very enjoyable experience. So, I mean, he even shows through our dev streams. Like Jose's like super excited to do dev streams.
That's awesome.
I mean, so is Mark, and so is Landrian and Eric and whatnot. But oh, is this mine? Oh yeah, this is mine.
Well, Landrian's excited to do dev streams just so he can try to bring tiers. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Landrian lives off those.
Yeah, he got a jar of tears. He's like, oh, I'm running out of energy. And he just drinks. Just takes a little sip.
That's
right.
right.
Okay, good. I'm good to go. I don't need to sleep for 3 days now.
No doubt.
We're always looking when you stream at midnight. Oh my gosh, if I was, oh yeah, I guess it is midnight our time. Oh yeah, I'm usually going to bed right around.
Is that when it is midnight Eastern time when you start X-Clan?
Yeah,
I thought it was earlier than that. No.
He starts at 9 p.m. on Sundays.
Good lord.
He is. Whew.
You gotta have the Lawbarian there, Diurnels. That's a must.
It's a must. Oh man. Oh no, I'm getting pinged on Discord right now. Of course.
I can imagine. So there will, I'll definitely be doing a recap of all the hotness we learned today and putting that on the YouTube's channel later. No doubt about that.
And we're actually, I think, in process of getting our stuff onto our dev stream as well on YouTube. If you want to link to that, because I know linking to Twitch logs or Twitch VODs can be super annoying and frustrating.
Yeah.
You know, if the quality's even that good sometimes. So.
Oh, definitely. Yeah,
But,
Rob is late night, that's for sure. Props to Rob.
I'm sure. I mean, there's definitely a lot of people here who stay up real late. So we tend to have a pretty not super open, but a pretty open schedule here in the studio. So you have to put in your time, of course, but there's definitely some flexibility there. So we definitely have some night owls that probably enjoy that quite a bit.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, I appreciate you swinging by and clearing, answering some questions and clearing that stuff up. Yeah,
no problem at all. I enjoyed it a ton. So if anyone has any questions, feel free to. Maybe I might see them on Discord. Depends on if I'm active. But on the forums, always welcome. And also check out our devlogs, our patch previews, our expansion preview stuff, and then also our Twitch VODs for any information, because there's definitely a chock full. If not for the comedic factor, there's information in there as well.
Oh, without a doubt.
So, all right. Well, with that, I will leave you guys to it.
Well, sweet. Well, I appreciate it very much, and we'll be talking to you soon.
All right. Take it easy, guys.
Have a good one. And Lawlta, the barbarian, has left the building. I better, one more peek. And there he goes. DD2 is all you've been playing there, Dukes? Thanks for